gentlemen, thank you for watching us once, or watching me actually. Today I am by myself. I have no guest, no one sitting next to me. It's a bit lonely up in here. Once again, I'm MAYELE, and thank you for watching the Young Queen talk show. Today I'm doing what you would call a one-man show, but I call it a one-woman show, you see me? Today I'm talking about the impact which mental health has on gang violence, or should I say the mental health impact of gang violence. Some of you probably wouldn't really think that it has an impact, but if you pay attention and you look deeply and you realize that such crime, such issues has an impact in one's mind, in which affects the mental state of one. If someone has witnessed, for example, a gang crime violence incident, gun crime, knife crime, you have to ask yourself, how do they cope with it after? Can they sleep? Most people tend to have nightmares. Some tend to have flashbacks. And sometimes it's not just those who are committing the crime who are affected by this. It's those who are having to deal with the after effect, knowing that their brother, their sister, their son, their friend, their cousin, their in-law, mother or father, someone has been taken due to gang violence. Gang violence is in the rise here in the UK, or gang violence is in the rise in general, even in places such as United States. Recently, in the month of April, as in we are still in April, as I said recently, in the beginning of the year, we saw a few number of deaths happening in the African community due to knife crime. Within the first week of April, at least 6 people died in the streets of London. And you have to think to yourself, why? I would like to take you guys back to 2007. For those of you who were here in the UK, or for those of you who remember such incident, you probably remember in 2007, the number of gang violence and knife crime was high. It was a huge increase. You switch on the TV, you watch the BBC News, ITV News, Sky News, Channel 5 News, you name it. It was just about the knife crime that was taking place in 2007, 6 and 8. Most of those people who died were black boys, African Caribbean minorities. Unfortunately, and I mean unfortunately, among those people, a friend of mine in 2007 by the name of Kojo, for those who know him, rest in peace, he died, killed by the Hammersmith Bridge, age 16. If Kojo was alive now, he would be 28 years of age. A youthful young boy, very active, very smart, very friendly. He even did an MTV interview speaking about the impact of gang violence and knife crimes. He was against such thing. As you can see there, that is Kojo, for those who know him. Once again, rest in peace. I still remember it was the week of my birthday, because Kojo died on March 14th, 2007, sorry. We went into college like normal. The day before he was in college like normal, we're sitting in the cafeteria, laughing, smiling, even insulting each other in Lingala, you know, those funny moments that we have. But when I came back to college the following day, I saw everyone gathered in one corner. And I didn't know what was happening. I was a bit lost. And people looked at me like, are you okay? I'm like, why are you asking me if I'm okay? Of course I'm fine. It's like, don't you know what's going on? Like, what is going on? Haven't you heard? Heard what? Kojo died yesterday due to gang violence, knife crime. I didn't know what to say. I was really lost of words. For a moment, I froze, and I just remembered, nah. I said to my friends in Lingala, go stop the jokes. But then it was the truth. It was really sad to know that someone that you know at such a young age, 16 years of age, and if anyone who knows him who is watching this, you would have known he was such a lovely person. And I'm not saying that just because I want to say that, because I knew him. Everybody has the things that they do that we don't know what they get up to. But it was just sad to know that a 16-year-old boy, Congolese-year-old boy, his life was taken due to gang violence, knife crime. Once again, rest in peace. In 2007, when Kojo died, the gang violence crime was high. I remember I actually took part in a short knife crime awareness film, and then towards the end we showed all the images of most of the boys who died around those times. Kojo was a kind of a person who helped his mom with chores on a Sunday, and like I said, he did an MTV documentary about knife crime before he died. So to know that his life was taken in such a way makes you think, like, how sad is that? Because he was against it. He died by what he was against. In 2016, the police estimated that there was a number of 200 gangs in London. In this capital city, there is around 200 gangs. That's an estimation by the police. With the number of knife and gun crime incidents. And the level of violence is high. But we don't know why. And we can't seem to solve this. And we can't seem to get around it. We don't know exactly just what to do. 200 gangs in this capital city. It's quite a high number. Because you have north, east, west and south, which means it's located in each side. But the mental health impact of gang violence is less understood. Many people do not understand mental health. I myself before did not have a deep understanding of it. But now I have a larger understanding of it. And mental health within gang violence is very less understood. You're probably thinking, how? How can mental health link into gang violence? They're just committing crimes. What's that got to do with their state of the mind? Well, first of all, you need to be in a certain mindset in order to do such a thing. In 2016, the London Ambulance Service showed 167 people were injured in knife incidents in the capital, while only 9 were injured due to gun crimes. Once again, you can see that the number of knife crime is higher compared to gun. Why is that? I don't have an answer, perhaps you do. Because in this capital city, we're still yet to know why. How will it affect someone in a mental state? If someone has committed a crime, they have flashbacks. Someone has committed a crime such as knife crime, they will have nightmares. Whereas you probably just have dreams, but their dreams will be nightmares. They're having flashbacks and seeing the things that happen. And sometimes it could just be going somewhere, a memory of something that triggers it, going to the location or to the, as how people say in this city, to the ends, to the manor. And then it triggers something into the mind, into your memory. It triggers something and then you remember, then you get a flashback. But when they're at home at night alone, they have nightmares. No pleasant dreams. They're having nightmares. And sometimes they have the physical sensation of pain, trembling, sweat. That's for those who committed the crime. And sometimes for those who are having to deal with the fact that they lost someone in such a way. If you're a mother, you lost your child to knife crime, to gun crime. Your father, your sister, your cousin, your brother, you find it difficult to cope with. And that alone would affect the state of your mindset. So yes, gang violence can have an impact on the mental state, on the mental health of one's life. Another example I would like to use is that in 2008, a young Congolese boy died due to gang crime. He was shot in Scrubs Lane in Willesden in the borough of Hammersmith. I know the family, and the road which it happened, it just so happens to be in the area that we lived around. I heard the sound when I was at home, but I didn't know what was going on. And we stayed indoors because we could hear the police, we could hear the ambulance, we could hear it all, and we're looking from the window thinking, what is going on? And then later on you get that phone call, or you hear people speaking and you get that message, so and so died, and you're thinking, what? I know his mom, she was torn apart. His brother, he just wanted to go and rip those people apart. The whole Congolese community was hugely affected by his loss. Sorry. Knowing that you've lost someone in such a way it's not pleasant. Kojo's death alone was very hard for many people to deal with. A lot of our Congolese brothers are dying in this gang violence, knife crime, if I can call it, nonsense. It's in a rise in this capital city. If there's 200 gangs in London, you have to ask yourself, are you safe? And what can we do? What can we do to end this? I know it's not going to end today, it's not going to end overnight. There's so many people who are doing campaigns, there's so many awarenesses out there, and I really urge you to carry on. I urge you to carry on doing the good work that you are doing. There are organizations out there, there are companies out there, there are young people who are becoming founders of movements in order to stop gang violence, knife crime violence, in order to stop just the whole violence, and perhaps gun as well. And I urge you to carry on. Good on ya. The research team of the Queen Mary University of London did a survey. And that survey stated that 4,664 men aged between 18 to 34 in Britain were dealing with the mental health issues or mental health disorders due to gang violence. The study report shows that 1% of the 18 to the 34-year-old men in Britain are also members of gangs. This is a research of 2016. And at that time, areas such as Hackney was on the rise of 8.6. And yet the average age of the gang members were 15 years old. What is a 15-year-old doing in the gang? 15 years old. When I was 15, I was going to under 18 shubs, you know? When I was 15, I was worried about my GCSE and the impact it would have if I didn't get good results, how it would, you know, reflect on my life later on in my university or something. When I was 15, I was trying my best, my hardest to stay away from such things. But yet, the average age of gang membership is 15 years old. In 2007, when Kojo died, when he was stabbed in the Hammersmith area by the bridge, it was youth, teenage children that chased him down that road, that killed him. I remember the youngest was 13 years old. Excuse me. What is a 13-year-old doing? But the issue is that most of these people who run these gangs are actually older people. And they tend to initiate younger people into the gangs. They tend to make you feel comfortable that it's family, you know. They've got your back, you know, they look after you and all that. But when the reality gets real, you're on your own on the floor. Someone stabbed you, someone shot you, and you're bleeding yourself to death. Someone's punctured your lung or something. Someone's hit you in the wrong place in the back of your head. And you know the funny thing is, sometimes the people who are actually behind such movements are very rich, settled people. They just use you to be the front face of what it is that they're doing. We find ourselves saying, oh, the society, or the government, yeah, sure, they play a role, they play a huge role. But you really need to think to yourself, what education, as we say, education de base, which education, or what education did you give to your child? Did you train your child to stay away from such things? What kind of upbringing are you giving to your children? How is your house? Is it a loving one, a friendly one, or is it in no order, disorder, distracted? You are putting your child in a place of danger. So they go and seek comfort elsewhere. They go and seek love elsewhere. They go and seek attention elsewhere. It's really dangerous for the women because sometimes sexual acts can get involved. Sometimes they will use women to be set-up girls in order to set up someone. For those of you who watched BBC documentary, BBC 3 documentary, which spoke about the incident that happened in 2007 and 8, and of the young lad that was set up by his girlfriend, you would understand where I'm coming from. It's very dangerous. So it's very important for you as a parent to step up and do what it is that you have to do to look after your child, protect your child, educate your child, and teach them what they need to know of this world, this capital city that has a number of 200 gangs. Sometimes someone could say it's worse in the south, it's worse in the east, it's not that bad in the west. I studied in West London. Lived around Westminster, Kensington, Chelsea, lived around Brent, postcode W10, postcode NW. People around those areas are quite calm. You don't see them in the news much. Funny that is. And that could simply be because no one wants to show you any gang crime violence that is happening in Westminster, in Kensington, Chelsea. They have a reputation to keep. Whereas you live in Hackney and Brixton, they'll show you anytime. What reputation do you have to keep? Maybe the incident didn't even happen there, but they'll just rub it on you. And most of the time is always a minority of black people. Young black male, young black African man, young black Caribbean man, age 19, was found dead. A young black African guy was arrested last night in the streets of Tottenham, Finsbury Park, due to a knife crime incident where a 13-year-old girl, I'm tired. Like, can't we hear a 15-year-old boy, you know, was praised because he got the highest level of his SATs or his A-levels or GCSEs, or this 18-year-old boy who is now the founder or something? That's the kind of news I want to hear on the BBC. But we don't get that much. I'm sure it's happening, but it's not really promoted. Because what's being promoted is gang violence, knife crime, gang crime. It's really difficult. You could be at home and you get a phone call. I remember mid 2000, once again, 2007, 8, 9, those times it was crazy, and a lot of Congolese boys died There was a family, a mother who lost her son to gang violence, once again, knife crime. She was at home. The boy was out. Just think to yourself, most of these areas that we live in London tend to cross boroughs. And most of the times, all you need to do is cross the road to be on the other side of the borough. Cross the road to be in west, cross the road to be in south. Perhaps east. This area code is such an issue. This young Congolese lad was walking in the areas of East London. He was on the other side of the road where to them is considered not his ends. They stabbed him, slashed his throat, and placed him in front of the door. His mother was in the house. They took his phone and called his father. His father was in Congo. The father called the mother and said, "Wapi mwana? Where is our son?" The mom said, "Oh, he went out. He went to get something. He should be back soon." He said to her, "Open the door, see what's going on outside." I don't know what I would have done. She found her son stabbed in front of her door. And unfortunately, he didn't make it. Area code war. Gang violence. Not too long ago, in Brent, kids are playing in the park. Children are playing in the park. And they're having to witness a crime taking place due to gang violence. How are those kids gonna cope? Kids running. I remember there was a day I heard gunshots. I called out for my sisters, like, yo, you have to get real here. The hood has to come out. Like, are we safe? Is the government doing its job? Are the police doing their job? Do you feel safe around the police? What can we do about it? All in all, when such things happen, it affects your mental health state. Mental health impact of gang violence. When someone witnesses such an incident, I said earlier, they will have flashbacks, they will have nightmares, they will have dreams, obviously normal dreams, but for those who are dealing with such a thing, it will become nightmares, so it's unpleasant dreams. They'll be sweating, they'll be tumbling. And a lot of these people are found with personality disorders. And you have to think to yourself, how is someone being found with such a thing? Research of mental health is, as I said before, not really much understood. There is very little research on mental health impact on the gang violence. But in 2007, the study of 108 gang members found half had anxiety. Go ahead, do your research, type anxiety, and you will know what it is. 108 gang members, half of them had anxiety. 85% of those people were dealing with personality disorders, split personality disorders. Like, 1 minute you're like, hey, and the next minute there's something else. Someone else could call that, I wouldn't say bipolar sometimes, because people forget things when they're bipolar, but when it's a personality disorder, is you are fighting with a different personality within you, or you are showing two different personalities. And that is a disorder which one may have to deal with due to gang violence, due to having committed a crime, or due to having witnessed such a crime of knife crime, perhaps. You have to think to yourself, What is leading to such things to take place? Why are they using children as young as 15 years old to be in gangs? And what can we do? Like, what can we do? I've said that a few times, like, what can we do? I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be back. And after the break, I'm going to explain to you what anxiety is so that you can get an understanding for those who deal with such issues and how perhaps you can help someone who is dealing with anxiety. And a little more details on personality disorder. I'll be right back.
5 in the morning, I see the missed calls. You know how it goes, I let the ting through. Follow the flow, the way her way is smooth. Follow the flow, you know I got it though. Baby, why you hiding? Don't be shy, I know you like it. Don't be shy, I know you got it. Don't be shy, I know you want it. So baby, we can do it all tonight. Let me press up on it now. We can do it all. 5 in the morning, I see the missed calls. You know how it goes, I let the ting through. Follow the flow, the way her way is smooth. Follow the flow, you know I go.
Coucou, c'est Nathalie Makoma. Promo sur SepelaTV. SepelaTV Box est commune à 55 livres. Et encore plus, 10 jours gratuits. Et encore 15 livres par mois. Abonnement dans SepelaTV. Oh mon Dieu. En profitez. Boya parce que promotion awa. Et zaline coupé la moto. SepelaTV. Wow. It's the best. Nathalie Makoma. À bientôt.
Hello, thank you for joining us again. Before the break, I said I'm going to give you a quick definition of anxiety, because anxiety is something that some people tend to deal with due to gang violence, either because they have witnessed such thing happen, or perhaps they were involved in the crime. Anxiety is feeling worried, nervous, and unsure about something with a certain outcome. When someone has anxiety, as it says here, they are worried. You go out in places, in your surroundings, but you're always worried, you're always concerned, you're always feeling unsure, uneased about what is going on because you're uncertain about the outcome of what is going on. So if someone is in a gang, perhaps, or witnessed a knife crime or witnessed a gun crime, you're walking around your neighborhood, you are uncertain, you feel unsafe, you're not at ease. Always concerned, always worried. What's coming to the right? What's coming from the left? What's coming from the front? What is going to hit me from behind? When someone lives the life of gang violence, that's what it's like. When you're in your gang, I guess it's like always ready on the go because you've clearly got beef with someone and you don't know who's going to be coming at you from which angle. It's very difficult. I urge of you to stop. Allow the young boys to have their youth. Allow them to live. Choose life over knife crime. Choose life over gang crime. Choose life over gun crime. And be free of anxiety. Be free of personality disorder. It is very difficult to deal with, because when it comes to mental health could be, like I said, anxiety. Mental health could be depression. Mental health could also be, for example, personality disorder. There is various disorders out there. And when it comes to gang violence, knife crime or gun crime, things such as flashbacks, this is like my third time to say this, flashbacks, nightmares, trembling, sweating, not feeling at ease, sorry, and being unsure of what is going on. Someone can experience depression due to such a thing. They'll go to sleep and they're still seeing what happened. They go to sleep and they're still hearing the voices. They're remembering how that person was pleading for their life. For me, now when I look at this, I feel like I pretty much knew about mental health before, but I just didn't really know what it is. Because when Kojo died, the following few days or weeks was very, 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 very difficult. We also then witnessed another incident which took place in the college where his boys and those boys were at each other and coming in, fireworks, gun crimes, and we are literally lying on the floor. Some running around, trying to get away from the situation. It's very difficult. But as the parents of the ones or the family members, seeing your mother, your father, anyone dying due to gang violence, someone's broken into your house, they're after someone, they didn't find that person, so they shot someone else, or they stabbed someone else. The mental state is going to be very difficult. Losing your wife due to gang crime. In 2016, we saw once again in the Congolese community, a family was affected by the gang violence, where a mother and her nephew died in their house due to gang violence. I feel like we have lost a lot of people in the Congolese community, Caribbean, African community, due to gang violence. And I've seen people doing interviews and talks and asking the Congolese community leaders, what are we doing? I would still like to know what it is that we are doing in our community. I cannot speak for your community, but I sure can for mine. And I want to know, what are we doing in the Congolese community? Are we speaking to those young lads? Are we speaking to the young ladies, making them understand that there is better things they could be doing than getting involved in such crimes? You think going to prison is cool because it's probably not that tough there. Go to prison in Africa. Go to Buluwo. See what happened to you. It's not a fun place to be. I really think that we should support the movement that is currently started in regards to knife crime, because at some point it just died down, but now it's rising again. The number of black people dying due to knife crime has increased. And if in 2016 we had 200 gangs, I wonder what it is now in 2018. Wouldn't be surprised if it's 400. Less, more, wouldn't be surprised. Our community, we need to step up. I'm going to show you a quick promo of an event that is taking place in June 2018. It's a charity football match for the awareness of knife crime.
5 in the morning, I see the missed calls. You know how it goes, I let the ting through. Follow the flow, the way her way smooth. Follow the flow, you know I got it though. Baby, why you hiding? Don't be shy, I know you like it. Don't be shy, I know you got it. Don't be shy, I know you want it. So baby, we can do it all tonight. Let me press up on it now.
Thank you very much. That event will be taking place in June the 29th. Please, I urge if you go and take part, go and help, watch, sponsor, get a ticket, encourage them to keep the movement going in order to stop, reduce knife crime incidents. Earlier on, I mentioned personality disorder. Personality disorder is a pattern of behavior in oneself that typically occurs after something has happened in their life. It causes a long-term it's like a long-term difficulty in someone's personality in relation to how they function within the society. And that is something that people are having to deal with due to gang violence, due to the fact that they witnessed it, due to the fact that they took part, due to the fact that someone gave them the knife and said, go, shank him, stab him, do him one. Sometimes it's simply because someone's jealous or someone's peer pressure mixed with the wrong crowd. This is why I said that at home we have a role to play. We need to stop just saying society, government, and gouvernement. We need to play our part. Train your children a certain way. Make sure they are aware of all these things. Speak to them, be open, have conversations. If you have to give stories and testimonies, or if you just have to make them go through the hardship so that they can understand it, go ahead, make it happen. Because you'll be saving a life, a generation, a future. Because those parents who have been told that their children have died due to gang violence, it's not easy. They're not coping with it very well. Imagine if that was your only child and you didn't have others. It's very difficult for you to start the process of childbirth again. Very difficult. Maybe you're like in your 40s and your 50s. How are you going to start the process of childbirth again? When someone's in that state of mind, I don't really think they think through clearly of what it is they're about to do. They just do it. It's like, what are you doing in my ends? Why are you in my ends? Why are you, like, you have the whole red and blood crip or crip blood or something like that, red and blue kind of code, like, not needed. You're taking things in the route that is not needed, in a path that is not needed. Once again, when I started the show, I wanted to look at the mental health impact of gang violence. And I stated that when someone has witnessed it or someone has taken place, they will deal with such things as nightmares, flashbacks, trembling, sweaty, pain. Personality disorder leads to you being unsure, anxiety. I wouldn't want to have that. I wouldn't want to be put on some pills in order to sleep so that I don't have to think about what it is that I saw. And some of these people who come across quite tough, quite hard, and not really hard, they're quite soft, you know. It's just a front. Because they've been trained to do so. We need to put a stop to this. I thank you for all those who've tuned in. Thank you for all those who've commented. I've not really looked at any comments, but thank you. We need to put a stop to gang violence. We need to put a stop to knife crime. Please go ahead and support the event, which I showed you. More details will be found on the Boss Brother page. It's taking place on June the 29th. Come and support your Congolese brothers on the charity football match where they will have various UK grime celebrities taking place in order to stop the increase of knife crime. I'm MARLENE Mayele. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Have a good night.
Bye.